How's it going, man? Nice to have you back in the studio.
Hey, happy to be here. Gosh, last time was what, I believe March 10th when we were in studio together?
Morning of the Arkansas GU game when I was awfully confident.
Oh, you're talking about...
Oh, in the studio. Sorry.
In
yes,
the studio
yes.
was March 10th.
I think it was March 10th. Correct.
And then the last time we chatted via video conference, you were in Portland, and then I was in my office in Spokane Valley.
I was in San Francisco.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, you were in San Francisco, and then unfortunately those Gonzaga Bulldogs.
You know, I was so confident. I remember our conversation that morning, and I was like,
if I remember correctly, it was not worried.
It was Memphis worried me more.
Yeah,
and Georgia State potentially worries me more.
Yeah, he made some crazy proclamation that Georgia State was more of a concern to him than Arkansas. Which makes absolutely zero sense, and we obviously see what happened.
It wasn't the worst take in the world at the time. It turned out to be a bad take.
It was a horrific take, actually.
That one backfired.
That's what happens, unfortunately, with some Gonzaga Bulldog fans. They just think that they're high and mighty flying into the tournament, and then they get brought down to earth.
This guy went to Montana. He's a Grizzly guy.
Well, what have they done? Turns out the Grizzlies have just as many championships as the Zags do.
It's different.
Sorry about
different competition.
Okay. I mean, I would argue that the Big Sky could give the WCC a run for their money outside of Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU. A run for their money. I didn't say that.
If by run for your money, maybe like a double-digit loss, like under 17.
Phooey. Anyhow, Grizz have 0 national titles. Gonzaga has 0 national titles. I promise I'm a Zag fan, but I'm a realistic Zag fan.
Those are some fighting words here in Spokane.
Yeah, let's go ahead and stop this. I don't want to go any further with this guy. Yeah, show's done. I can't handle the heat. It happens. We'll talk some more Zags here in a few. But welcome to the Locker Room, episode number 80. We're up into the 80s now. Unfortunately, with that means that there's almost essentially no Mariners jerseys left or players who were 80 or above to talk about. There were a couple Seahawks players, 2 of which are probably top. When they retired, were arguably the best wide receivers in the sport.
I agree.
When Steve Largent, being obviously the bigger of the 2 in Seahawks hearts, and
of course Jerry Rice,
which is hilarious to think about, by the way. I love thinking back to the fact that Jerry Rice was a Seattle Seahawk.
Medium-sized daddy, liquid guy. So
it took me a second to realize what was going on. Do those lower thirds make sense to you?
To me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
The hint is Adam Sandler.
Is this like a
look at mine.
Happy Gilmore?
You're on the right track.
Billy Madison?
You're still on the right track.
I don't know. I'm missing it.
Bobby Boucher.
Oh, Waterboy,
right?
Waterboy.
Liquid guy. And then have you ever seen what, Big Daddy? Or
yeah, Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Or Little Daddy. I can't remember what it is.
I think it's Big. I don't know. Anyway, that's
it's Big Daddy. Sorry,
whatever Koufax is that character. So we were on an Adam Sandler kick there.
Oh, got it.
His name in the movie is Sonny Koufax.
Sonny Koufax. Did Andrew make his appearance?
Oh, I'm gonna save him for later, I think.
Oh, okay.
When we get to the jabroni section.
Oh, perfect. Even better. All right. And Edgerrin James also played for the Seahawks, which is super entertaining. Seahawks have had a few. TJ, Who's Your Mama, also played for the Seahawks for a minute. They've had a lot of super good players in their prime who come to Seattle as their sunset tour.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm drawing a blank on others that come to mind, but Jerry Rice definitely was a shocker when he came.
T.O.
T.O.
Played some preseason football. Never made the regular season roster, but he's now playing in that new league. The other. But he's 46 now.
Well, then you have Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen's a decent example
who he signed
of that.
for $8 million in the last year of his NFL career, and I think I want to say he had maybe 8 catches. Something like that.
Not many.
And then he tore, I believe, his Achilles.
Yes.
But I guess he and Russ are homeboys. He was recently on Greg Olson's podcast, and he was saying, "Are we going to see a better version of Russell Wilson? Are they actually going to let you cook?"
That's just what he needs.
Yeah, and Russ is like, "Yeah, I definitely think you're going to be seeing a different mentality as we approach our offense."
Oh, I'm sure we're going to see a different Russ down there. Is it going to be a better version? I think that's to be seen. I hope not.
Now, question: do you wish or hope that Russ is going to struggle? Do you wish for him?
I
to fail?
hope he's horrible. I don't hope he gets hurt. I would never wish that on him. But I hope he's horrible.
I would agree.
I hope he's bad. I hope the Broncos go 0-17. It's not gonna. None of this will happen. I think he's gonna be very good in Denver, at least for the first couple of years. Most likely. I mean, he has the weaponry in Seattle. Even if because you see like the Broncos offensive lineman, he's like, hey, like welcome to Denver. We're gonna protect it here or something.
Yeah,
stupid.
I know you're used
like
to
you guys had
hit.
a horrible offensive line anyway, and so he's still gonna produce. He's gonna be Russell Wilson. He's probably gonna run more. I mean, it just seems like that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to do really well. I hope he doesn't, but I think he will. That's a really tough division and a very tough conference.
I would agree.
I don't think the Broncos will have any sort of team success, but I think Russ will do well.
That's fair. I also believe that Broncos are probably going to take third in that division, followed by Kansas City, Los Angeles, and then I think the Raiders might take last. But, yeah, that division is loaded. And one of the big narratives that has been driving me nuts in the national media with this whole Russ trade is the fact that people are proclaiming that he has better weapons by going to Denver. I'm sorry.
Which
that
is
wide
incorrect.
receiver core of Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, I'd rather take DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, personally.
Right. Very good. Not to discount Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, but it's not the same.
But, yeah, let's not act like he's going from zero weapons to just a plethora of them.
Right.
It's just not accurate.
Right. Did you see AJ's comment there, Sam? He really liked the medium-sized daddy joke.
I mean, medium-sized daddy is pretty good.
Yeah, that was
and
not
I'm
bad.
sorry, I'm not a movie buff. I wish I
He
knew.
falls asleep all the time. He can't hang with movies.
I cannot sit through an entire movie. It's
This guy couldn't
unfortunate.
watch Ozark for the first 2 years he couldn't get past the first
Really?
episode.
Yeah, it took a while. I'm 2 episodes in, and I think I've been trying to watch for like 4 months.
It's because this guy actually does clean money, and so he can't watch it because it kind of gives him PTSD with all the.
Yeah,
I will say the financial advisor link and what was going on in the first episode. Remember when he was watching with his wife on the laptop?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that. Ugh.
It just brought back too many memories.
Yeah, PTSD.
Makes sense.
PTSD.
Also, you got to give a quick little shout out. Mick Whippy's here again.
Yeah, I see that. He's always
the OG.
here. He always seems to find us. We haven't had a show in weeks, and he's still here.
He was here right away.
Yeah, he was here right away too.
I'm convinced that McWhippy is somebody undercover.
I also think that too, but I'm not sure who it is because he's on Twitch, so it's hard to tell who he is.
What's Twitch?
It's mainly a game streaming.
It's a live streaming service.
Oh, that's what nerds do when they stream Rocket League like you do every Saturday night?
No, I do not stream. I did stream my Madden game once so you guys could watch me play, like Eric or something a couple years ago.
Probably lost.
Yeah, you wish. All right, let's hop into some more stuff here now that we actually have let's talk about Colin Kaepernick, my favorite
All right.
former NFL player to talk about.
Giddy up.
Made some headlines saying he'd be okay to take a backup role, which is surprising because that was not his attitude a couple of years ago. In fact, he was offered a role and he turned it down. And now I think it's to this point where the distraction continues to be more of an issue than not. Because you look at historically in the NFL, they can handle police. They can handle legal issues. That's not something that the NFL has any problems with. They've confirmed that that's not an issue. But the one thing that's never been touched on is the whole Colin Kaepernick experience and what that exactly means for your franchise and the questions and everything. I just don't think anyone's willing to take that sort of look at him.
I don't know who would, other than our beloved Seahawks, who have been in the news as of late as being potentially the front runner. I honestly don't foresee that happening.
I don't think
with
so.
Us recently, obviously acquiring Drew Lock in that trade, and then
Re-signing
also
Geno Smith.
signing Geno Smith.
Mm-hmm.
First off, and then we'll get back to Kaepernick. Thank God that contract for Geno Smith is not as brutal as we once thought. Luckily, he's only guaranteed $500,000, and the rest of that $7 million contract is based off of incentives. So, luckily, again, I don't think the Hawks are super committed to Geno long term. But again, there certainly could be, a quarterback change. Considering we're looking at Baker Mayfield, which I still think is a really, really good option at the right price.
Are they going to get rid of him though? Because
what is he going to be, a backup for Deshaun?
How is Deshaun going to play all 16 games? How many games is he going to miss?
True. Yeah. Well, you mean because of the
suspension, right? Because the NFL for sure is going to, I think, suspend him.
They have. I mean, I would assume they have to.
You would almost have to think so. So and Cleveland is a team with playoff aspirations, a very good roster around that whoever is at quarterback. Can they afford to start some random backup for 8 games and wait for Deshaun to come back? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a good point.
This could be a situation where, he almost gets traded before the deadline. Like, he's on Cleveland's roster for however many weeks he needs to be, and then he gets traded after that point because you're not going to want to keep both of them as starters. But does he even want to be there? He's made it very clear that relationship's toast, that there's no chance that he ever plays for the Cleveland Browns again. And rightfully so. I mean, Cleveland's made it very clear that they're not really not interested in him until they got Deshaun Watson, and they're like, well, actually, hold on, let's pump the brakes. Like, we kind of like you to be here, just in case.
Yeah, well, and I mean, luckily they have the great services of Joshua Dobbs.
Oh yes, good old Josh Dobbs
from Tennessee, the Tennessee Volunteers. Something he's got a different.
Wait, can we make alopecia jokes? Because last time that happened, a black guy hit another black guy. So I just want to make sure we're okay. Sam, is alopecia jokes still in?
It's valid.
That's a yes.
Nice.
They're back in play.
He's got a different bald issue than I do.
Yes.
For sure. Like, I just, it's the receding hair.
Well, have you checked?
It's the spot. I got hair on the rest of my body. I don't know why the hell I wouldn't have any on my head if I did have alopecia.
Okay, fair enough.
I just, unfortunate genes on my part. But on the Joshua Dobbs side of things, again, he's bald, he's beautiful, but again, I don't think he's really the answer at backup for Cleveland either.
Okay. So Gianni says, do you honestly think Drew Lock will be a viable starting quarterback? He will be a viable starting. The only teams in the NFL where he would be a viable starting quarterback would be somewhere like Philadelphia, would be like the Ravens, Seattle, the teams that really want to run the ball. He's not going to be a guy who's going to go out and sling the ball 40 times. If he could throw the ball 17 times and Seattle runs for 200 yards, then yeah, he's a viable starting quarterback. Is he going to carry your team? No, not at all.
Right.
But Wilson was a guy who didn't throw the ball 20 times. If Locke can make splash plays without being a turnover machine, I think he's a starting quarterback for a team that doesn't need a top-end starting quarterback. Same with Geno. Geno's the exact same way. He made a couple splash plays last year. A lot of people remember his games by his turnovers at the end of games, one of which was an incredible play. Who was that? Was that Bosa?
Joey Bosa?
Or Nick
Bosa?
I don't remember who we played. Was that Nick? I think that was Nick.
I'm not sure about the reference.
The one where he got stripped from behind as Geno Smith was scrambling and ended the game, essentially. We were driving down the field. I think it was Nick. Anyway, doesn't matter. Geno's the exact same way. He's not a guy who's going to sling the ball around the field 30 times and expect to win, but he's a fine game manager, in my opinion. He knows the offense. He knows what we want to do. And it appears that the locker room loves the guy. That's what we keep hearing.
For whatever reason. Again, Geno Smith is hot garbage. I'm in greater favor of having Drew Lock being the starter day one than I am Geno Smith. But again, I don't think that either one of them are going to be the starter.
Really?
I think we're going to get Baker Mayfield.
Really?
If Cleveland absorbs a lot of the $18 million that is left on his contract.
I don't know if money's the issue, though. I don't know what the issue is. No, I don't think so.
We only have about $16 million of cap left. We can't afford to pay.
We're not signing anybody else.
I understand that, but if Cleveland agrees to pay some of his salary for next year, I think it might make sense. You take a flyer on him for a year.
I'm not saying
we're going to have $83 million of cap space next year,
right?
Which is an ungodly amount.
Wilson's coming off the books,
or $86 million, I believe.
Large amounts of money.
Right, and then you take a flyer on Mayfield, let him give himself a prove-it year, and then again, if he's the answer moving forward, we sign him into a long-term extension.
I don't mind. I'm not saying I wouldn't want Baker Mayfield in Seattle. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think Cleveland is understanding that they need a quarterback to fill in for.
But Baker's going to hold out. Like, there's no way he's going to show up. I think the damage
has already been done. I feel like he really loves
done.
Cleveland, though. Like the fans. I don't know how those people are brutal people, but.
I was watching an interview with Joakim Noah, of course,
That's an
the
odd
Florida
thing to be
Gators.
watching.
Well, I know it was on Pardon My Take the other day.
Oh, okay.
And they were interviewing Joakim Noah, and he was talking about some interview we had a couple, I think. Gosh, maybe like 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how much he doesn't like Cleveland. And he made a good point. He's like, when somebody tells you they're going on vacation, do they ever tell you that they're going to Cleveland?
I've never heard one person in my entire life say, I'm really excited to go to Cleveland.
I will say, been to Cleveland. It's actually a really cool city.
You survived.
You got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's true.
Big classic rock fan. Mm-hmm. And then also you have the Christmas Story house. They're on the corner. Do you remember? Are you a Christmas movie buff?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah. So my wife and I, we went and toured it. It was fantastic. We loved Cleveland. We were there for like 6 hours.
Was that before or after Minnesota?
Very funny. It's an inside joke. It was after Minnesota. Thank you.
Good. I just wanted to get the timeline set. Thank you. That's all I needed. All right. We have a lot of questions coming in here, actually. So AJ said Cap is fine with the backup role, but is he fine with backup money? If he is okay with the minimum, I totally see a team taking a chance.
I don't understand the risk and reward of bringing him on, knowing that his ceiling is going to be a backup quarterback. Why even deal with the headache?
He's 33 now?
Yeah, but again, unless he's actually going to come into an NFL roster and actually compete for a starting job, what the heck is the point of bringing him on just to be a backup?
I agree.
It's more of a headache than upside.
The issue with Kaepernick, too, and this has always been his problem, is he was never a great thrower of the ball. He had a absolute cannon of an arm, but he was dangerous because of his legs. And that's the difference between him and Wilson. Wilson can survive for a few years longer because of the fact that he has the accuracy. Kaepernick never had that accuracy, never. He just was a playmaker, and the older you get, the less of a playmaker you become. Craig would like to know which rookie QB is the best fit for the Seahawks. I only want Reed's take. That's not very nice. I mean, technically Malik Willis is probably the best fit. I don't think they're going to take him. I don't think they want him at his current draft stock. People have talked about Pickett and his small hands. I don't see Seattle taking a quarterback until maybe their 40th or 41st pick, maybe one of those two, maybe Matt. Actually Desmond Ritter's been making a lot of noise. I've been seeing a lot of Desmond Ridder. That's a possibility. I don't know if they're going to. I think they're perfectly content on waiting for a quarterback. But I could see a Desmond Ridder draft pick at 40 or 41 to answer that.
Do you think Willis and Pickett are out in the first 15 picks?
Potentially. That's what it seems like is what's happening. And it happens every year. You get these borderline first-round quarterbacks. Malik Willis has above-average potential talent, but you're seeing these average quarterbacks getting bumped up because teams get scared. Yep. And Seattle isn't a team that drafts based off of being scared. I'm not saying they're a beautiful drafting team and they always make the right decisions, but they never draft like they're scared. I just don't see John Schneider and Pete Carroll going into this draft thinking if we don't get one of these two guys or three or four guys, we're screwed.
Yeah, I think regardless of who they pick and have play in that offense, the ball's not going to be in their hands like it was with Russ.
Right.
I think, again, they're going to lean on their defense, which, again, is up and coming, and I think they're going to fly under the radar and make some noise. But also with our offensive philosophy with Pete Carroll, he wants to pound the ball, right? Control the
clock.
Big
ball pounder.
Big ball pounder, for God's sake. Children. I would laugh too if I didn't say it.
But it's very true that they want to be hard-nosed. They want guys who can hit. They want guys who play a little after the whistle. You look at, for as much garbage as Paul McQuiston and Breno Giacomini got, that's exactly the way that Pete Carroll wants to play on both sides of the ball, and we just really haven't had that. We've been pretty soft. You look at like LJ Collier, not really a fierce guy. I mean, Rasheem Green's had some good moments, but not really a fierce guy.
Darrell Taylor,
very good rotational guy. Darrell Taylor's one of those guys. That plays a little smash mouth. And even you look at some of the negative things. Quandre Diggs plays like that. Jamal Adams plays like that. Trey Brown was playing like that. It kind of feels like Sidney Jones played like that. Jordan Brooks plays like that. They want to get guys who can hit, and they want to get guys who toe that line of being a little too aggressive. And I appreciate DK plays like that. You just see that a lot. And so I think that's what he wants to get back to. And you don't have to have a top-tier starting quarterback in order to do that.
I agree.
To win.
I agree. And now let's move on to what you would like to see them do with the 9th overall pick. Number one, what would you like to see them do? Number two, what's your prediction on what you think they're going to do? Because turns out with the Seahawks and drafting, us and our buddies, we've sat there on draft night and been
so excited
with so much anticipation, waiting for that draft pick, and then the Seahawks have traded their pick.
And they don't pick till Friday.
So what do you think is going to? Who do you want? What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're definitely going to pick at 9. I'm very confident in them picking at 9 because it's not every day you get a top 10 first-round draft pick because that's usually where you get more of that blue-chip talent, the guaranteed blue-chip talent. Aiden Hutchinson's gone. Akeem Akanawu gone probably.
Can you say that one more time? What's his name?
Econowu.
Okay.
Is that it? I don't even know how to say it.
I don't know. I just wanted to hear you say it again.
I think it's Econ. Anyway, that guy, the NC State offensive tackle, who I was listening, Brock Heward was comparing to Walter Jones as far as athleticism goes, so that's pretty impressive.
Pretty big take.
Evan Neal's probably gone. I don't want them to take. There's no reason they'll take Kyle Hamilton at safety. Sauce Gardner's going to be gone. I don't really want them to take a corner.
You don't?
I don't think. I'd rather have Kayvon Thibodeau, Trayvon Walker, Jermaine Johnson, Derek Sting. I want them to get a big-time defensive lineman or a big-time offensive lineman. That's where I want them to go. That's where I expect them to go. And hopefully that happens, because those are the foundational pieces of your football team. Corners aren't foundational pieces. The Rams didn't win the Super Bowl because of Jalen Ramsey.
That didn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt, but is he more important than Aaron Donald?
No.
Right.
But comparing him to Aaron Donald, like, there's not very many Aaron. Actually, quite frankly, there's zero Aaron Donalds.
Look at the Steelers. The Steelers have been great historically on defense. Name one corner they've ever had. But you can name defensive linemen.
Joe Hayden, who they got in an acquisition from the Browns.
Yeah, big Joe Hayden guy. No, defensive and offensive lines are still where football games are won in this league.
I agree.
If the reason why Russell Wilson didn't want to be in Seattle, one of the reasons is he wasn't getting protected enough. He was getting hit too much, causing too many broken plays.
Holding on to the ball too long.
Some of that.
People like to forget about that. Every time on Seahawks Sundays, or Thursdays or Mondays for that matter, I would text Reed, because we text like after every play. I would text Reed and be like, get rid of the damn ball. That sack was 100% on Wilson, and then he always came to his defense each and every time.
There were a couple of those plays, but sometimes when you get pressure up the middle, what are you supposed to do? You can't just throw it away because you're still in the pocket. You got to get outside the pocket, and at that point, like, he's trying to make a play. I'd rather –
Again, here we come with the more excuses. He could never admit that, again, Russ was probably – he should probably
Dude, I have his jersey. What am I supposed to do? I have to go buy another $200 jersey before next football season. Who am I going to buy?
I don't care. Russ accounted for like 30%, at least 30% of the sacks.
I'll say 30. And Cedar Point Amusement Park in Cleveland.
Say it again?
Cedar Point Amusement Park is also in Cleveland.
Who pointed that out?
Ron Sweat.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Gianni said Jamal Adams is absolute trash. Craig said if we stick with Locke and add weapons in the draft, what is the floor and ceiling for Locke stats-wise?
Good question. If he throws 20 touchdowns, 10 picks, 3,000
yards. Yep.
I think
that's the baseline. I think you could go a little bit more, a little bit less. Either way is the floor and the ceiling. All right. Let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about the Mariners.
Let's go.
Pumped. 7-5. They're off to a really good start, and I think that 7-5 is a little deflated based off of their performance because they had some brutal games in Chicago. They lost one of those games based on weather alone, where Robbie Ray gave up like 4 runs in one inning because he couldn't hold on to the baseball because it was a downpour. Even Service was like, that we probably shouldn't have played. So that was super unfortunate. Other than that, though, everyone's producing. COVID's still here because everyone's on the COVID list, which is still super frustrating. But Jamal Crawford, wow.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, are we doing this still? J.P. Crawford, 316 batting average. Adam Frazier, 294, coming up from like a 150 for the first week or so of the season. Ty France, 289. After that, you see a lot of 100 level production, but that doesn't really explain the situation. Jesse Winkers had some really unfortunate fly out specifically, but he's hit the ball hard all over the field. Julio Rodriguez has done the exact same thing. Suarez has done the exact same thing. The only person who I'm a little bit worried about is Kelnick, but again, I still believe that he has more to offer. I don't think this is his final form. I'd be shocked if he ends up being like this. I heard this weekend, and who said this? Was it Craig? I don't think it was Matt. It was Tim. Tim said, Jared Kelnick gives me supreme Dustin Ackley vibes. And I didn't like to hear that at all.
Oh, boy.
I didn't like that at all. That kind of made my stomach hurt when he said that. I was not a fan of that.
That's a very depressing picture to paint.
It's a horrible picture to paint, and I see it a little bit, but the difference between the two guys is Ackley was very reserved, where Kelnick's the complete opposite. And I just have to believe it's going to come together for him. I just have to believe that it's going to click at one point. Because it's not like he's just missing everything. It's not like he's committing errors. It's not like he's, making boneheaded plays. He's just missing off-speed pitches. He misses off-speed pitches, and then he'll miss a fastball occasionally because he's expecting an off-speed pitch off the plate. So he just has to figure out and understand what guys are doing to him. And I think once that clicks, once that connection between what he expects to happen and what actually happens connects, I think he's just going to be just fine. And that's the hard part. That's a really hard thing to do. It's probably the hardest thing for a major league batter to do, but I just have to believe that happens.
I mean, you would certainly hope so, given how highly touted he's been coming up through the ranks. And my hope for him is that with Julio being on the roster, Julio Rodriguez being on the roster, that takes a little bit of the spotlight away from him and can allow him to just focus, go out there and do his dang job. Mm-hmm. But you're exactly right. It is definitely worrisome, but I think the Dustin Ackley comp is a little excessive. I think just from a pure talent perspective. Again, I know, Ackley coming out, I believe he was at North Carolina, correct?
Yeah, with Seager.
Right, coming out of North Carolina. Again, he was a stud and, again, very highly touted, but I think they just have a different skill set. And I think Kelenich's desire to be great, I think, surpasses what Ackley, at least,
I agree,
explained outwardly.
I would agree. I would agree with that for sure.
Again, we're going to see, but very happy with how the Mariners have started here early on. I mean, 7-5. Again, the rotation's been solid. The bullpen
very good
has been fantastic.
Yep.
I mean, and again, if we just can continue to just win series and just take care of the teams that we should be taking care of, we're going to be fine. And one of the most exciting things for me watching them this year is how deep they are. Man, right. I mean, at any given night, somebody can go off, as opposed to last year where, we were pretty dang
Seager, Haniger, France, and that was
it. So I'm super excited for the future, and I think that they're ahead of schedule.
Who's been the most impactful offseason signing up to this point?
You'd have to look at Eugenio Suarez.
He's made a lot of massive big home runs. He already has 8 RBIs, second on the team. He's his batting average isn't quite there, but he's hitting the ball hard. We saw even last night there were a few times where he hit that ball up the middle. Wasn't super well hit, but it was still straight up the middle, and of course the shift got him. But and his energy, like all of the guys they brought on have incredible energy and passion. Even Robbie Ray from the pitching standpoint gives off so much energy, which you don't see very often from a lot of pitchers. Some of them are really good, great ones are like that. I think what Adam Frazier has done in that leadoff spot, especially over, again, the last week, has just been monstrous. I mean, he has 6 runs. He leads the team in hits. He's batting .294.
I think he only has 1 walk, which is odd for a leadoff
hitter.
Right,
and that'll change. That'll definitely change. He has 7 RBIs, good for 3rd on the team, which is insane coming from that leadoff spot. Yep. So, I mean, he's done really well. Really, the worst one is Winker, who I wouldn't say – probably maybe the safest batter. As far as, you know what you're going to get with them. He's done it for the last 2 years, and he just hasn't gotten it going yet, but he's going to be just fine. He's done it now 3 years. I'm not worried about him turning it on. But, yeah, the offseason moves so far have been nailed, and I think they're only going to get better. And I'm just excited about the Mariners. I'm excited to go to Boston.
Yes. Well, absolutely. And real quick before we get on to Boston, I think – and you got to give Jerry Dipoto so much credit for this offseason. Again, a lot of fans were – complaining and kind of disappointed in our offseason acquisitions. But, I mean, what this really does well is if we can continue to play good baseball between now and the All-Star break, again, we're going to be able to have flexibility to go out and sign some other players and trade for some players if we really want to make a postseason push this year. So I think Jerry Dipoto deserves an A for what he's done in the offseason. It's been fantastic.
Definite A for sure. So, yeah, we're literally just about a month out. We leave in 28 days for Boston. 6 of us going over there to meet up with our buddy Eric. Going to be a blast. I'm excited to wear Mariners stuff all over Boston. Every single day I'll be wearing, even if it's the days we're not going to a Mariners game, I think I'll have some sort of Mariners attire on.
Absolutely.
You just have to. I want to be walking just down some random Boston street and I just want to get flipped off by some Boston fan.
It'll happen. Depends on how many beers you have.
I'm sure it's going to happen. So I'm super excited about that. Did you see that AJ and Scotty are on the same flight?
They are?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Over. So that's pretty funny. The only one who's Tim and McGowan are on, their own flights. So.
And the mask mandate.
Yeah, the mask mandate's done, which is sweet.
Airlines.
We don't have to wear masks on airplanes anymore. So you don't have to pretend like you're eating and drinking for the whole 3-4 hour flight.
That ended the week after I got back.
That's right. Yeah, that sucks.
How long was your flight on the way back?
They were roughly took 2 flights, and it was like an hour 15 each.
Okay.
So they weren't long flights, but still, it
still sucks.
Yeah.
But the Biden administration is trying to appeal that.
Oh, boy.
So, anyway,
Moving
all right. Let's talk Zags for just a couple minutes here. Lost to Arkansas. Really unfortunate loss. It felt very Baylor-like. It just always felt like GU was struggling to get into the game. They kept pushing and prodding, and it almost felt like they were just about to get there, and then Arkansas would hit a big shot. Just about to get there, and Arkansas would have a big steal. I mean, it was constant. That exact sort of thing that happened against Baylor was happening, not so much on an aggressive level as the Baylor team did, but it was just a very frustrating performance. I'm trying to phrase this properly. One that I think that doesn't quite fit the narrative of basketball in 2022. Arkansas is a very old school team where I feel like GU is a very new school. A lot of movement, a lot of speed, a lot of passing, where Arkansas is like, we're going to hit you right in the mouth, and we're going to do it over and over again, and we're going to grab you. We're going to not let you have your space. And Arizona was built like that, and with Tommy Lloyd the exact same way, and both of those teams got knocked out early.
Finesse team.
Right.
And I remember there was that big slogan, I believe it was last year and this year, Zags got dudes.
Right.
Still Zags don't got his dogs. We have 0 dogs.
Anton Watson. He's actually probably the most aggressive of any of them.
And that's pretty sad.
Be saying something.
That's pretty sad. Again, it kills him come tournament time. And again, like we talked about, I'm sorry to dog on the WCC again, but all of these numbers and how great Gonzaga is, these regular season numbers are inflated. They don't play against dogs every week in and week out like the Big 12 does or the SEC. We just don't. And that's fine, but Few's got to change the way you recruit or something to draft some guys that are just hungry and are just dogs.
But see, the unfortunate part, though, is that's not where basketball is. Basketball doesn't – they're not supposed to be rewarding the dogs. They're not supposed to be rewarding the –
I'm not saying have a lineup starting full of dogs. I'm saying have a couple off the bench. Have a couple off the bench. Again, the Zags are a finesse team.
They're a little soft,
and it's okay.
And
they have that identity, but obviously it has killed them time in and time out in the tournament. And again, I know they've been to 2 out of 5 national championships the last 5 years. I get all that, but I think if they want to get over the top, the one thing that's really killed them is when they run up against physical teams. What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm not going to argue against that. I think basketball hasn't adjusted to the Zags play style, because you look at
That'd
how...
That'd be pretty cool if you said that and the Zags won 3 national championships in a row.
They would. Oh, if GU was given the freedom that the NBA players are granted, GU would have won 3 national titles in the last 5 years.
Well, that'd be nice.
Guaranteed.
That'd be nice if money grew on trees as well,
because
but it doesn't
Chet
happen.
got absolutely destroyed by the referees.
That's true.
Zach Collins got absolutely wrecked by the referees.
Valid.
It just happens time and time again. And you go back and look at all 5 of those calls on Chet. 4 of them were phantom. 4 of them were just nowhere to be seen. 1 of them was borderline. And it's just like, how do you... I mean, these refs going to go home at night. And, I mean, they have to know they suck, right? They have to know that their calls were just horrid. That ruined it. That completely ruined. And then once he came out, I was like, well, here we go. Great. I've seen this play out before.
I get it, but again, every team...
How come we can't be physical? How come Chet isn't allowed to be physical?
Well, those calls were horrific.
Thank you.
I do completely agree, but that's not the reason they lost the game.
It's a decent...
It's a contributing factor, but it's not...
It's a large piece of the pie.
You think... Okay, let's do the blame pie here.
Yeah.
What is the number 1 percentage reason why Gonzaga lost that game? If you say the refs, I'm walking out of here.
They couldn't make their shots. Julian Strother
is they're thrown off their spot because they're a finesse team. Okay, what's the next reason?
No, it wasn't off their spot because they had open shots. Arkansas was in their face, but GU's ball movement gave them open shots, and they just missed. They missed so many open shots. I have a stat here. There's a analytical group that looks at the amount of points that should have been scored based off of how open they were on their shots. And GU should have beat them by like 8 is what it was, because they were missing so many open shots.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was the physicality that caused that. I just think it was an off night. But when you combine an off night against a physical team, against officials that don't allow arguably their most important player to play the way that he's supposed to play and to play a full 32 minutes or however many minutes he was going to play, all of that combined is what beats the Zags.
Yeah. So this kind of comes back to my argument, though. Again, when you play Pepperdine, Santa Clara, Pacific,
I don't think that matters.
Portland, You do not build up the endurance to play tough team after tough team after physical team. Just like, again, we did against Georgia State, Memphis, and then Arkansas. They ran out of gas, and they missed some shots.
I don't think it was running out of gas.
Well, they ran out of focus. I don't know what you want to call it.
I just think they missed their shots. All right.
It's unfortunate.
Let's keep.
No, wait, no, time out. Hold on. We didn't finish this real quick. What does this loss to Arkansas do to Mark Few's legacy?
I don't think it does anything.
Nothing. So it's just standard protocol.
I think so.
Zags are really good in the regular season, and they just can't get over the hump.
Right. How long did it take Coach K to win his first national title?
I don't care.
I think it took like 20 years.
Great.
Mark Few's been here for 20 years. He's on that borderline.
Awesome.
Coach K took over a Duke team that already had a lot of success. This GU program is still building its identity.
Really?
I 100% agree.
What is their identity in 2022?
Well, the problem with Gonzaga is they're a West Coast team playing in a smaller conference. That is an issue, and when it comes to recruiting, that is an issue. The other problem is Spokane. Spokane is not known as – Duke has a draw that Spokane doesn't.
You mean nationally?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Not like Spokane isn't a cool place to be, but when you compare what it means to play basketball at Gonzaga to what it means to play basketball at Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina or Kansas, GU is a budding blue blood type program without the history of those programs.
Okay.
It's cool. It's more cool for high school kids to go play at Duke than it is to play at Gonzaga at this point. So I still think GU is building their identity.
But we still got the number 1 overall McDonald's All-American.
A lot of that had to do with Suggs.
Okay.
And a lot of that had to do with Dominic Harris and Strother being buddies and essentially saying, hey, let's come play here. And then they didn't really play together.
So what's your point?
My point with this is it doesn't affect his legacy because he is the grandfather of this program, the guy who's building the foundation for this program to be successful for generations to come. So even if, let's say worst case, Mark Few doesn't win a national title, but they're a continuing contender for the next 10 years, it's not the end of the world. Now, the end of the world would be the next guy who comes on board doesn't win one. Now it's a problem. Now you're really seeing a program that can't ascend to new heights with some new blood. I still think they're going to win a title under Mark Few.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do see what you're saying, but the excuses are over.
You're right.
This year was a failure.
Right.
It was an absolute.
It was
failure.
definitely a failure because they got knocked out in the Sweet 16.
Right.
I don't think
but the bar is set so much higher these days
I
than
agree.
it was 5-10 years ago.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
So they need to live up to expectations or start to shift the way that they recruit because it ain't going to work.
I agree. And the issue is they can't. There's no other conference they can play in.
Also, the WCC is a detriment to their success.
No, I'm just going off of what you're saying.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
Here we go.
Moving on.
All right. Also, Zags could potentially have to replace all 5 starters and their MVP Will Graves, which is an issue.
Coach K was hired in 1980. He won his first championship in 86.
No. At Duke, he was hired at Duke in 80.
In 80, yes.
But he became a head coach when?
Looks like he coached for the Army for 5 seasons.
So it took him 11 years? We'll check on that because I'm pretty sure it's longer than that. But we'll check on that. So Timmy declared, Strother declared, Nembhard just declared this morning, Bolton's going to leave, Holmgren's going to leave. That's potentially all 5 starters. Now, I think Strother returns. I'm halfway confident that Timmy returns. But still, at this moment, you're looking at potentially a brand new starting lineup next year. Very interesting to see what happens this offseason. They don't have a lot of recruits. They only have one guy, Braden Huff, coming in, a 3-star guy. Sam.
He started coaching. Sorry, I just lost I was looking at something else. 74 is when he started coaching.
So it took him 12 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was wrong. Doesn't happen often.
What else is new?
So it took him.
But that doesn't look like
he did go to a Duke program that already had success and already had that sort of identity built in. He just made it better.
I'm still struggling to understand what your point is. The Zags aren't a sweetheart anymore.
No, they're my sweetheart. they're still mine.
The slipper does not still fit. They're bigger than that.
You're right. Let's quickly move on here because we're running a little bit out of time. Nice to see DK showing up for voluntary workouts. The best part about DK Metcalf is his willingness to just play. You look at what Davante Adams did this offseason. You look at what Tyreek Hill did this offseason. You look at what Deebo Samuel's doing right now this offseason. And out of all of those guys, silent. He's having a good time. He's happy. He's happy what he's doing. He's showed up, and there's just zero noise. All the noise that's being created about DK Metcalf is from the outside and from the media pundits trying to create noise. And I think that says a lot about DK Metcalf. It makes me more willing to sign him to a bigger contract.
Absolutely. You can tell the guy's committed. And another interesting thing to note is the fact that I believe this is correct, but Deebo, Tyreek Hill both have the same agent as DK.
Interesting. I don't know that for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me.
But the people that have been, again, the wide receivers this offseason that have been complaining or wanting out or what have you, do have the same agent as
divas.
DK. Divas. Absolute divas.
I was talking with Craig about this, I want to say. The movement of players having all of this pull is getting very frustrating. And I get it. The owners have their own issues and don't, follow through on contracts. But unfortunately, that's how it works. Employers have more power than the employees, no matter what sort of union step in, no matter what sort of group step in. It's built like that for a reason, by the way. Workers should never have the same rights as the owners. It's just not the way business operates. It's the way business will never operate. Hopefully it doesn't operate like that.
Boy.
So there's a reason why that Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel are causing all this noise, and DK is just playing ball. And I said a couple weeks ago that I think DK could get a pretty good haul. I don't think I care. I think I really want DK Metcalf to be a Seahawk for a long time.
It's tough, though.
It is tough.
I wouldn't.
Very tough.
I wouldn't complain if they traded him, though.
I don't think I would either.
If they got a first round, a second round pick, I mean, I don't know. Again, I keep coming back to Pete Carroll's identity on offense. I mean, personally speaking, I'm not sure DK necessarily fits in to that style of offense outside of catching the deep ball. Like DK's not going to be a volume receiver in this offense with these current weapons.
He won't be. He could be though. He could if needed to be. If this is the way Seahawks were doing it, because you saw times last year where he just took over games.
Yeah.
And he wanted to take over games. And again, this offense didn't allow him that. Now Geno did target DK a lot.
True.
Geno was a big DK guy, more so than a Tyler Lockett guy.
This guy's a big Geno guy, which I still don't understand.
No, I'm not a big Geno guy. I just think he got a lot.
He knows the offense.
He does know the offense.
Yeah. What else? Why else do you want him to be the
He's a good guy outside of the DUI. That part was unfortunate, but no, I think you keep DK. I think you move forward with what you have and build around him as your offensive centerpiece at this point.
I agree.
I
think I'm neutral on that.
Yeah.
If we trade him and can get a good
Depending on
haul for him, awesome.
Yep.
Because again, our team has significantly more needs outside of the wide receiver position.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I think again, if we could get a decent haul for him back, great. If he's going to be with us long term, we're going to sign him to a big deal, awesome. But we damn well better utilize him. If we have a huge contract sitting outside the lines here, I am going to be furious because there's absolutely 0 point of signing DK Metcalf to a huge contract if we're not going to utilize his skill set. No way. To me, I don't see the reasoning for that. I'd rather have 2 great offensive linemen or 2 great pass rushers.
Okay. That's not bad. It's not bad. I definitely get it. Again, the haul would have to be perfect.
Absolutely.
For sure. Let's see here. Gianni will go over a couple of questions here. Gianni said Chet didn't care about playing basketball for the Zags. He checked out in the tournament and was looking to the NBA. I don't think I buy that. I think he really wanted to win.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he put in the work all off season and season just to be like, I'm gonna pump the brakes.
I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for the league here. They did miss a lot of shots in the first half. Craig said the NBA needs to take away the defensive 3 and the key and make it competitive again. Yeah, I don't know why that really got. It's to clear the lane out. It's to make driving the lane easier, and that's why they got those guys out of there. I think that would help. It would make the defense get a little bit more aggressive. Gianni said, do the Hawks have a shot to make a deep playoff run with Pete Carroll still? I think so. I think that's still there. He says that I personally think they should have kept Russ and moved on from Pete, and we'd have been better off doing that. I don't know. I think Russ was ready to move on. I think Russ wanted a different opportunity and wanted to show what he can do. And Seattle was never going to be that place for him as his ego grew and his competitive aggressiveness toward being the best Russell Wilson he could be. All right, this day in sports history. Let's see if there's anything that stands out real quick. Boston Marathon winners. See, Eric was at the Boston Marathon?
I did, yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Nothing really stands out. There's some really cool stuff on here sometimes, and other times it's Dodgers. They had their first rain out in L.A. in 1967. That's interesting. A lot of Boston Marathon stuff here. Now you know. Yeah, nothing stands out. But that's okay. I'm sure something happened today. Yeah. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? I think we can do jabronis. Yeah, let's do jabronis real quick. No, let's rank. Sorry, let's rank those beers. Let's rank those beers, Sam. That'll be fun.
We're gonna stick in the Boston theme here.
All right, let's just make this easy. Miller Lite top for
domestics. Yeah.
Yes, this is all domestic beers, by the way.
Yep.
Let's put Miller Lite at the top.
So you want
not the High Life.
Not High Life.
No.
Oh, it's like drinking motor oil.
There we go.
Oh, my apologies. I gotta go over.
No, Miller
the
High Life's
categories.
the champagne of beer.
I hate Miller High Life.
I gotta go over the categories here.
What'd you say?
So you're putting Miller Lite shockingly at the top.
Oh
boy.
Right below.
So you want to put it in a damn good beer.
Or shockingly at the top still should be the best, right?
Yes.
Yes, top. Definitely
Okay.
top. Yep. Damn good beer, Bud All Right, Pretty Coors, Dos Suckies, Flat Tire, not even worth ranking, never had. Let's put, what else can we put at the top?
So Old English you can put at the bottom.
Yeah, Old English.
Along with Steel Reserve.
Are we putting flat Tire or not even worth ranking?
Not even worth ranking.
Nope. That reminds me of college and bad hangovers.
Let's put, which one did you just say? Steel Reserve at the bottom.
Steel Reserve, that absolutely is at the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. Let's put, you want to put Coors and Bud at second level?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Coors Light?
Yep.
Coors
Light.
and
Bud Light. Bud Light Lime. We're going to put that at the very bottom.
That's a fairly underrated beer. It's good on a boat.
It's a decent one on a boat. Maybe Dos Suckies.
When it's like 100 degrees out.
Dos Suckies. It's a pretty rare. Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's put Budweiser for the classic side of it. I like Budweiser.
Yeah.
Second tier.
So Bud All Right?
I'd say third tier.
Let's put it third for now. We'll see where it goes.
Bud All Right. Okay.
Let's put Corona there too.
Yeah. I see. Now I would argue Corona's a damn good beer.
Really?
Yeah. Love Corona with the lime in the summer.
Okay, put that there. Put Budweiser there too. Then, if I'm going to let him put Corona there.
We're putting them both in Bud All Right.
Okay, fine.
All right, that's fair.
Sure. Rolling Rock. We're going to put Rolling Rock. That's pretty low.
Oh, man, that reminds me of college, too.
Flat Tire?
Flat Tire.
Yeah, because there's still some funny moments of that.
Yeah.
Busch Light. I think I might go in the same.
No, see, I would actually...
You don't mind?
I would say Dos Suckies for Busch Light.
Okay.
Yeah. And then also, special shout-out to Joel Oakland. Keystone Light.
Yeah,
let's put that one at Pretty Flat Tire.
Really?
I hate Keystone Light.
Oh, I thought you were going to be nice there.
No.
It's not that good.
No,
it's not that good at all.
Now, this guy is a little weenie. He doesn't like drinking actual beer. Like, he doesn't like IPAs, really. So where would you put Shock Top? You love Shock Top. Blue Moon and Shock Top are like his go-to.
I think Shock Top is a better beer than Blue Moon.
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
I think Blue Moon is a okay beer, but I think it's incredibly
Shock Top's
overrated.
a better summer beer. Than Blue Moon. Comparatively.
Yeah, all right.
Like I wouldn't want to drink a Blue Moon on a boat, but I drink a Blue Moon at a restaurant in November.
Yeah.
Shock Top is Bud All Right.
Yeah.
Let's put Blue Moon there too. What are we going to put? Banquets. Pretty Coors.
I need to make an argument for banquets before you go,
go ahead.
Anywhere. I think Coors banquet beer for like a cheap, light, like just watery beer is the absolute best option.
Banquets?
Well, I love Coors banquet beer.
Put it where you want.
That's your call.
Whoa.
Okay. Now.
All right.
I think it's the best, like cheap. I can drink 20 of these and I'm going to be hydrated.
Really?
I think so.
That messed me up last year. Guinness? Where do we want to put Guinness?
Guinness is a damn good beer.
Guinness is a good beer.
I love beer. Sorry.
There's no way.
Wow.
There's no way.
Okay, fine. But all right.
Fine.
Or Pretty Coors. Let's do Pretty Coors then.
Deal.
I personally like Guinness on St. Patrick's Day. To be fair, I don't
we're
really
putting the
drink
High
it
Life,
outside
the
of
champagne of beer.
I think that is
Dos Suckies.
Okay.
I just like their marketing. Right. The champagne of beer is a very...
Okay. A lot of people like Lagunitas IPA. I'm not a big fan. I would put that at Dos Suckies.
Okay.
And then Goose IPA is horrifically bad. I would put that at, not even worth ranking.
What about
like every airport has that beer.
It's probably the worst IPA ever.
It is. It's pretty bad.
Hefes?
You mean a Hefe?
Hefe. Because it's a Hefeweizen.
Okay. I think that's Pyramid Brewing's Hefe. I think Pretty Coors. A good Hefe every now and again is all right.
What else? Rainier. Okay.
Little Rainier.
Rainier, where are we drinking it? If we're drinking it in Seattle, that's pretty Coors. If we're not, that's a flat tire.
I agree.
Let's put it Dos Suckies.
Yep. And then I do see one other one on here that I'd like to rank.
Yeah.
Pacifico. Now, Pacifico, I would say a damn good beer. It's better than Corona.
Really?
I love Pacifico.
That's a bold take.
I would agree.
Let's keep it on Bud All Right.
Oh, okay. My bad.
My show, my rules.
Yeah.
What else do we really need to? I think that's all of them.
Old Style, that's at the bottom.
Yeah, that's probably towards the bottom.
That's a pretty good list, though.
Oh, Sam Adams.
That's a flat tire. Oh.
Well, are we just talking about like their generic, or are we just gonna talk about the?
Boston Lager's terrible.
It is the generic label, so we'll say it's generic.
Sam Adams, I would say either Dos Suckies or flat tire.
Let's do Dos Suckies since we're going to Boston. No, Dos Suckies. I said. Sam Adams up one more. Thank you.
Nice.
Dos Equis?
Pretty Coors.
Okay.
I like the Mexican beers.
Heineken. I think I've only had a Heineken once. I don't know where probably lower.
Where's O'Doul's on this for the people that don't drink?
Okay.
Come on, man.
Flat tire. Yeah, put it there. Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's good.
Oh, no.
Oh, Michelob Ultra. Where do you want to put that? Judd really likes Michelob
PBR
Ultra.
is an absolute flat tire. Oh, no way.
You got to put at least Dos Suckies.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. You can hop in here. So, yeah, what about Michelob Ultra? Elvis loves it.
Yeah. Michelob Ultra's for guys in their 40s that are trying not to have too big of a beer belly. Let's do Michelob Ultra, which is actually pretty good. I'd say that at pretty Coors.
Okay, that's fine.
Natty Ice?
Oh, not even worth ranking, in my opinion.
That's fine.
So the only ones you haven't ranked are Fat Tire, Modelo, Stella, Tecate, and Total Domination IPA.
Stella's low, too. I'm not interested in Stella. Put that at Flat Tire.
I like it. Comes in the fancy glass.
Okay, fine. Dos Suckies, because that does have a nice glass with the foil top.
Yep. Modelo's flat tire, probably. Yeah. It's not great.
What about Fat Tire?
Let's see. I'd say Dos Suckies, probably. It's not very good.
Okay.
I'm pushing it up because I kind of like Fat Tire.
Okay, all right. I'm starting to realize how much I dislike domestic beers.
Tecate's
Dos Suckies. Actually, no, sorry. Pretty Coors. Pretty Coors. That's actually pretty good. And then Total Domination IPA from Ninkasi Brewing. I would say that is pretty Coors.
Okay. Let's go ahead and save that list because that's kind of fun.
Yeah, that's good.
I think that's
and Miller Lite wins gold.
Yeah, I think so. Just for there's a lot of history with it.
In the pure quantity of those beers we've drank over the years.
For sure.
Miller Lite for sure.
More than any others. All right, let's go really quick here. Finish off the two jabronis. Athletics only had 3,500 people in their stadium on Tuesday night. Horrible. They should probably relocate. That stadium's garbage. It has like sewage flooding sometimes. Not good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Then another jabroni, which hits home personally here at this desk. I'm just asking for the viewers at home. How would you feel if, a previous significant other was good friends with somebody that was dating a Mariners pitcher, and you got to go hang out in the Diamond Club, party with the Mariners, get on-field access, all that good stuff? How would that make you feel? I know somebody here on this set that's not too tickled about that.
It's a rough time. God, I would, how exciting it would be to go to a Mariners game. I'm wearing this jersey. I'm hanging out in the Diamond Club, being one of the cool premier people. And then I get I'll go hang out with Matt Festa or someone. Not a high-end reliever, but hey, he's a professional reliever. And, go have a nice Miller Lite with him after the game or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
God, that'd be an awesome time. And, you would think that opportunity could have surfaced, 2 years ago maybe.
That ship has
That's
sailed.
Unfortunate. That is super unfortunate. All right. I think that's it. So real quick because you got to head out of here. We have some upset people in the comments about beer. Wow, shock top above Guinness. Sad. AJ said if you don't put Pacifico at the top, you guys are still high from 420. Scotty said that is a travesty. I don't know what that was too. AJ said Reed should not be allowed to comment on these rankings. Scotty said Heineken is skunky garbage. And Scotty said I'd like to call in for the next beer ranking. You people need some help.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah. We'll get Scotty
this is different. This is just domestics. There's Andrew Blart, Jabroni Cop.
That's awesome.
Andrew makes his appearance. And Vinny was wondering where Andrew was. There he is, right there. All right. Let's I think that was good. That was a good show.
I agree. Absolutely.
That was a good show. You have a meeting here at noon at No Lie.
No Lie. Yep. Shout out No Lie Brewing.
Shout out No Lie
Good
Brewing.
Good beer.
Better beer than it was about 5 years ago. They've been doing better. I think that's what people have been saying, as far as I know. So, all right. Well, thanks again for stopping by. We'll see you next week. And don't forget, and always remember, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. See ya.
See you, everybody.
That was the worst thing I've ever seen right there.
The end?